FM94, The Dark. It is that time again. It's time to get to know a band we play here on The Dark. And joining me on the phone tonight is Dereak Messer from the band Messer. And Dereak, how you doing, by the way? And I tell you what, I'm glad to hear your voice because I was told by one of the guys I work with, Paladin here, that you guys know each other a little bit back down in the Texas area.
We do, man. What's up, Jay-Z? Thanks for having me on. Excited to be on with you guys tonight, man. Yeah. He told me, he hit me up and said you guys were interested in getting a little interview in, so I jumped all over that, and I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you taking the time out to give us a little push.
Well, I figure I better do it now because in about a year or two, you'll be too big that you won't want to talk to me anymore.
Hey, let's hope you're right, okay?
Hey, let's for our fans and our listeners out there and fans of Messer, let's get the history of this band. Give us a little taste of how this band all came about, Dereak.
Yeah, not a problem, man. We've been, around for about 8 years or so. Me and Javier and Kenny actually met through some mutual friends years ago, and we started throwing around some song ideas, and then we decided, hey, we may have something here. Let's put together a little project. So I was at that time. Maddox was, who's our bass player, was getting his hair. I mean, he was doing hair. He's a hairstylist,
nice.
With Tony and Guy. So I was in there getting a haircut, just talking about music, and found out that he kind of was into the same thing. He liked what he was hearing, so we pulled him on board. And then we started, putting together this album, and realized that, we're going to definitely need to add another guitar player. And fortunately, we all knew Donnie DeVille, who fit in perfectly. He's an award-winning tattoo artist who had done some tattooing on Maddox, and it just, was the perfect fit, really. And, he pretty much put the last piece of the puzzle together, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Very cool, very cool. And now you guys are out of the Dallas, Texas area, but you didn't originally grow up, though, in Dallas, did you?
No, I've actually lived all over. I grew up a lot in northern Florida, and then actually moved up north for a couple of years up in the cold state of Iowa, which I know you know a little bit about that.
We're not going to hold it against you, okay, that you just said you're from I've been in Iowa, so.
Yeah, exactly, man. But I got a lot of great friends from there, so I still got love for up there. But, no, I lived in, moved to Dallas after that, and that's kind of where we all met, and Dallas is just such a great place to be from, especially, with the boys from Pantera and Drowning Pool.
Right.
So many great bands from that area.
You mentioned that, and it seems like even a lot of the up-and-coming new bands are starting to come out of that area, too. I'm thinking of even like Nothing More and stuff like that. Those guys have really made it big.
Sure. Another great band out of the Texas area. I mean, Texas is so big. I mean, there's so many great, too many to list, but it is a great place, and the Dallas-Fort Worth scene has always been really a hub, for great talent and great bands, and it's just a lot of camaraderie between all the bands and musicians in that area. Everyone's kind of pulling for each other to do well.
I get a chance to talk to a lot of up-and-coming bands, and the one thing I always like to ask is where they're from, how their rock radio scene is. What is the rock radio scene down in Texas like?
Well, we're starting to get a lot of support through 97.1 The Eagle.
Okay.
But, that's iHeart, so it's a little tough at times, to get in full regular rotation there, But we've got some good people on our side there who are really pulling for us. So they do play us at least, a couple times a week. So, we're blessed for that, but could always use more for sure.
Yeah, so asking that question, I guess, how are you guys getting discovered out there? I mean, who's pushing in? Who's helping you? Is there somebody in the industry that's helping, that's already maybe made it and said, hey, you should check out these guys? How is that working for you?
You know what? I mean, really, we're an independent band. We do this thing on our own. Everything we do, we've actually, brainstormed it ourselves and just pushing our own way through there. We do have a lot of good friends who we've toured with that definitely push for us, but we just try to get on good tours and, we hit the pavement, man. We're out there all the time, trying to do 200, 250 shows a year, as much as we can play. We're all over the country, just, putting our own name out there.
Just like tonight, you said you were in Peoria, Illinois playing a show tonight, aren't you?
We are. We're up here in Peoria, Illinois with the Struts. doing a big Nutcracker event with 105.7 the X Rocks.
Nice.
And station putting on this big deal. I believe this is their 21st one, and it's a big deal. It's a huge, huge venue, and real excited for this one.
Let's talk about the name Messer. I'm kind of thinking I know how this came about, but give us the short story of it, Dereak.
Well, actually, I believe it was Javier, our guitar player, who suggested we use it quite a while back, and it's not so much for being my last name as it is the Messer, the German. It's the German word for knife. We kind of see our music as being cutting edge. Trying to stay cutting edge always. So it just kind of seems fitting. It's a one word, it's a strong one word name. So it just kind of fits us.
Yeah, that's all right. Nothing wrong with that. We're talking with Dereak from the band Messer, and of course, they've had some songs on our airwaves. Their latest song, Save Myself, which is doing very well on the secondary market radio charts, the Foundations, and also doing well on the media-based active rock chart. That's obviously that's the big time if you get on there. How excited are you about having this song on there right now?
You know what? It's great. It's a blessing. We're trying to get it up in the 20s. We're trying to get it up in the top 20s, hopefully before this year is through. It's doing really well right now. I believe we're in the mid-30s, and we're keeping on pushing. I believe we're the only independent band on the charts. So for us to be, hashing it out with all the big dogs, it's it's really cool.
And of course, Make This Life was your first song that made it to the charts. That kind of maybe was your breakout song. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, that was a great first song for us off this album, and we feel we have at least 4 more good singles off this album, so we're going to see where we can push it to, but we're just clawing our way to the top, one song at a time.
Let's get your musical background. I guess what were your interests growing up as a kid, and what kind of gravitated you to the rock scene?
Man, you know what? I grew up with some older siblings, that turned me on to music, that stuff a long time ago. And so I was always really around music all my life. My dad was a singer-songwriter too. And so I was always around music, and, growing up, I loved the Doors. I loved stuff, not only crazy stuff like the Doors, but stuff too like Fleetwood Mac,
yeah,
Peter Frampton, all the greats, just stuff where they were singing, I love melodies, stuff like that. And, all of us in the band, we all come from different backgrounds as far as music goes, so that kind of definitely helps feed our songwriting machine.
You mentioned You mentioned Dereak. You mentioned Fleetwood Mac, and I remember that album as a kid growing up because my dad always played that, and it didn't matter which side. The Rumors album I'm talking about.
Yeah,
side one or side two. And just recently, the band Tooth Grinder decided to do a remake of The Chain. Have you guys ever thought about doing any remakes or anything of any older music out there?
Funny you say that. We actually mess around acoustically sometimes with Gold Dust Woman off that same album.
Yes. That's awesome.
Love that song.
Boy, that might be
that song.
I was going to just say, you might have to maybe do that and get it out there. And I'm going to ask, obviously you guys have made it on the rock charts already, so you're getting seen nationwide. But is that, a lot of times young, upcoming bands are doing that to get maybe that song to at least be heard, and then eventually they get their own stuff heard. Is that a good way to do things, or is that just kind of a gimmick way to get on things?
Well, you know what? I'm kind of torn between that. I just didn't want to be one of those bands that's all you're known for.
Right.
Alien Ant Farm. You don't want to be known for that song. And I was talking with those guys. We saw them about a year ago live, and we're hanging out with them afterwards. And they almost hate playing that song. People start chanting it halfway through their show. Or maybe at the beginning of their show, people are wanting to hear the Michael Jackson song, and it's just, we didn't want to be known for that right off the bat, but we are brainstorming and trying to find the perfect song to record, that would really fit us. But, it's fun to do cover songs, especially if you find the right one, but we definitely wanted to lead with our own songs first, so we're not labeled, they're that band that does that one song,
Hey, let's talk about touring. Obviously, you mentioned obviously you're on tour right now, but I always like to find out bands and who they would love to go out with. So if you had to put together a tour, let's say for 2019, who would be some bands that you would love to go out with in 2019?
Oh man, let me see. There's a lot of them, really. We're definitely, I believe, we're on the short list for the Fozzy tour, which will be a fun one. I've heard
Ooh.
nothing but great stuff about going out with Chris
Yeah.
Jericho, so that's a good one. Ultimately, we'd love to go out with a band like Shinedown. I think our songs and our style would mix well with something big like that, and our production as well. So I mean, something like that, the Shinedown level would be huge. Alice in Chains, if they, decide to go back out. Bands like that for sure.
Yeah, and try to get on a large bill, so you might get to maybe 5, 6, 7 songs to play, and then you're off. But at least people see you and hopefully get more information about you, right?
That's it. That's all we ask for. Give us 30 minutes. Give us 25 to 30 minutes, and we will do our thing.
Obviously you have to go and play in small clubs and that, but I bet you guys really enjoy doing that, don't you?
Yeah, it's way more intimate that way. We just finished up a tour with Royal Bliss and Joyous Wolf, and those were some smaller capped rooms, probably 400 capped rooms. But you know what? The places we're on the radio and stuff, the crowds were huge. Packed, sold out nights. So, that's still for us, super fun, way more intimate. You get to meet everybody at the end of the night, and it definitely makes it a little bit more exciting for sure.
You mentioned, obviously, you got a couple songs that have already been released. You have some more ready to go. So what are the plans for 2019? Just to do a bunch of touring then?
Yeah, we're going to release another song probably right after the first of the year, and we'll be back on the road hopefully, no later than February. And, man, we're just planning on hitting it hard again, shooting for about 200, 250 shows again next year, and going to try to hit every nook and cranny across the country that we can.
How about Minnesota?
We'll be coming back to Minnesota. We'll maybe wait till you guys thaw out a little bit.
What are you saying?
but we always love Minnesota, man. We always have a great time up there for sure. Beautiful area. So we definitely want to get back up there.
But what clubs, I guess, have you played up here before? Do you remember those or?
Man, I know we played up there. We know we played in Mankato.
Okay,
and, yeah. I'm trying to think of the names of the places. Man, don't put me on the spot.
I'm not going to put you on the spot, but Mankato,
yeah,
I know. Mankato's very good down there. Yep.
Ago.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we were up there not long ago, so definitely a lot of love for Minnesota.
Awesome. And I think the fans around here have a lot of love for you, too, because we get all the time people requesting not either one of your songs, so which is great to hear. And
that's fun.
Maybe we need to get you to come up here for one of our bashes. We do a kickoff to Summer Bash in early June or an end of Summer Bash in the middle of September. Those are still warm enough for you, I think.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. If you put us on there, we would love to. We would definitely love to get up there for something like that.
All right, so you just heard that, Central Minnesota. If you want Messer to come here, let us know here at the radio station, and we'll try to make that happen. Does that sound good, Dereak?
Yeah, absolutely, man. You guys call in and just bug him and get us up there. We'll be there.
That sounds good. All right, for more information about the band Messer, how can they find out all that stuff? I'm sure all the social media sites, huh?
Yeah, every social media, Messer Band, B-A-N-D, messerband.com. You can find us across all social media platforms, and you can find us on Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play, Instagram, Facebook. Leave us a message. We do return all of our messages personally. Hit us up. Follow us on Messer Machine. Follow us there, and you'll know exactly where we're touring, when we're coming to your neck of the woods. We love to meet new fans. We love to hear from you guys. Let us know where you want to see us, and we will be there.
All right, the last question I'm going to ask you, and I ask this a lot of times, I like to switch it around a little bit. So we talked about, you covering a band song. I want to know who you would like, what artist or artist genre would you like to have cover one of your songs?
Well, it's funny, man. A couple of our ballads that are on this album could cross over almost to the country, so maybe a big country artist covering one of those. But other than that, you know what? Let's hear a band like, Let me see. Who would do a good job on one of our songs? I don't know. Maybe Shinedown. Can you talk to Shinedown on one of our songs?
Here, let me. I'm gonna call Brent right now. Just kidding. Yeah, I wish.
I'm gonna cover fight of my life if he can do that.
I'm gonna ask Paladin if he knows Brent from Shinedown right now. Okay.
There you go. Get him on it.
I will do that. Hey, a lot of fun talking to you, Dereak. A lot of fun getting to know your band a little bit more, and maybe we can see you right here in Central Minnesota in 2019. That would be fun.
Yes, sir. We're on our way. We'll be back, you guys.
Awesome. Hey, we're going to play your latest song, Save Myself. Have a safe travels as you're journeying across, once again, America, doing the old school rock and roll, and keep rocking, okay?
Thank you, sir. We'll talk to you soon, Jay-Z. Thank you, guys.
Once again, that is Dereak. He's from the band Messer. Their latest song is called Save Myself. It's on the dark. It's on FM94.